7 years ago, I was new, a year or two new to the building, and wanted to do more environmental work with the students, and I didn't really know where to begin. I pitched it to the kids as a challenge, knowing that most kids love a good challenge.
Yeah, right.
And that it will make a significant difference to the school if we're able to pull it off. And I had 50 students out of 85 volunteer.
Wow.
We needed to really focus where is our best effort going to be and show the largest gains, and that happened to be the cafeteria. This is kind of pushing the envelope of the way things operated, and you're dealing with a school of 700 students and 4 different lunches, so any kind of tweak to that flow can make kids late for class and
Sure.
create all sorts of issues.
There's a challenge in getting whether it's the principal or the custodian, there's somebody in the chain that you have to get on board.
Right.
And was it the case that at Massabesic that all these people just got it?
No. So change is difficult.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest challenge that we were predicting was going to be the cultural change in the cafeteria, not necessarily the composting aspect, but the sorting of materials and going through that process. When you're not doing that on a regular basis, or even students not doing it at home, and it's a whole new concept, you really have to educate not only the process but why.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of our initial efforts went into that. I mentioned at a staff meeting and also sent out an email kind of clarifying what we're trying to do. And I also, in the cafeteria, every lunch I made a short presentation, and our principal, Mark Fisher, did the same thing.
Yeah.
Just explaining what we're trying to do in the process. And it took, I think it was really 3 or 4 days,
Yeah.
and it sorted itself out, and we had a new flow, and it worked. After we got that going for a few weeks, I then had the students collect the weight data,
Yeah.
and we were able to take a look at the numbers, and it was pretty amazing. Out of what normally would go into the trash, we were able to separate about 73% of the material.
Divert that
and
away from
divert it
the
away
landfill,
from
yeah.
the trash.
Yeah.
Yep. And I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 30% was compost. So we had all this compost material, and we're like, what are we going to do with this? We had no place to put it initially. And so that initial weighing, it would then go into the dumpster.
Yeah.
Because we had no place to put it. So we quickly needed to solve that problem. And then we realized that we were ready for another phase, to change things at our own school and kind of get kids involved in composting at the school facility. And that's when we contacted the Department of Environmental Protection and Mark King. After that, we just went for it. We got our horse manure, everything he recommended. We were able to get from local horse farms in our area.
You have literally just compost piles in front of the school and a pile of horse manure, just
Right.
piles,
Right.
where like parents drive up and they're right there. Versus I've been in schools, in places where I live, where we've had to build very fancy cedar compost bin, 5-bin systems,
Yeah.
and hide them behind the school. So that completely changed my bias, I guess, about what that was going to be like. So how did you have to overcome that? Like Mark King saying, "This is a great spot,"
Right.
and then did somebody say, "We're going to have piles of horse manure dropped in front of the school"?
30 yards plus, and now somewhere around 70, 80 yards. Yeah. So when that site was identified, it's right at the activity entrance.
Yeah.
For all athletics and plays and any music program activities, and so that they all come right there to that entrance. And it's right there.
Yeah.
That was a joke at first, like, oh, I guess we're not going to be hiding this or build the fence big enough, I think Mark Fisher, the principal, was just like, this is what the students are doing, this is what we're doing, why hide it? It's just, it's visible.
There's benefit in people seeing what's being done.
Yeah.
The concern was, is it going to smell?
Right.
And is that going to be, an issue? And so we weren't exactly sure what was going to happen with that. And, Mark King assured us, if you get enough horse manure and you keep an eye on the temperature, you shouldn't have any issues. And we haven't.
Yeah.
There haven't been any issues at all. So the irony of the compost not smelling, we have fewer flies and issues than if that food was getting dumped into the dumpster.
Yeah.
Which was just a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd walk out there, there'd be little puddles underneath the dumpsters from the liquid waste, and then the smell it was atrocious. Anytime you're adding food waste to regular trash and it's not composting, it's just decomposing. You know, it's just awful.
Yeah.
So composting is probably the best way to get rid of critters and flies and all the other issues that people have with the regular trash